You didn't think there was a chance that I was not going to cover Corey Feldman's debut on Dancing with the Stars.
Corey Feldman and Jeff Johnson will tango when we come back live.
Of course we're going to cover it. Today we're going to be covering Corey's debut on Dancing with the Stars, okay? And what an exciting, enchanting evening it was. We're going to break down the entire show. I myself have never in my life watched a single episode of Dancing with the Stars. Only Mr. Corey Feldman could get me to sit down in front of that TV for the better part of 2 hours for about a minute and a half of Corey Feldman performance. But there was a little bit of lead up, there was a little bit of anticipation and excitement leading up to the debut performance. So let's go ahead and break down this legendary, monumental, once-in-a-lifetime moment of Mr. Corey Feldman dancing on Dancing with the Stars. The show is hosted by Alfonso Rivera, who Corey Feldman does have some history with, but leading into this thing, I was so curious to see Corey in a more controlled environment, as I've done a bunch of videos on Corey Feldman. If anybody is watching this channel, you probably already know that. There's so much Corey lore to unpack here, but all roads lead to this, okay? Corey has been dancing and performing, not like Michael Jackson, but a similar style of dance.
There's going to be some MJ moves coming here in a minute.
Does it kind of come
no
a little
MJ
bit?
moves. No, yeah, it's kind of a similar style of dance because we grew up dancing together.
But we've been focusing on, his concert performances, his songwriting, his abilities as a musician, okay? But I was so curious, and I think a lot of people were curious, to see how Corey does in a more controlled environment, and not just focusing on his songwriting, but purely his dance, which he claims to be his first love. In a lot of my videos, I've explained, why doesn't he get outside help? Why doesn't he hire choreographers? But he is the choreographer in every performance that he's ever done, doing the same 2 or 3 dance moves that we've seen him do for the last 30 years. How can Corey stack up against these other performers? Now, most of the people he was alongside, the other contestants, I had no clue who they are. I don't follow Mormon Wives. I don't follow a lot of these TikTokers and the other people that were on there. I did know Steve Irwin's son, but we did also have Topanga. Every boy who grew up in the 90s, their first crush was either probably the Pink Ranger or Topanga, and she did pretty good. I don't know shit about dance.
I don't know shit about fuck.
But she was on there. She looked beautiful, and congratulations on her. She recently overcame cancer, so it was cool to see Topanga. Stephen Baldwin was in the audience for Dancing with the Stars. But let's talk about, we're here to talk about Corey, okay? So leading into this, there was a little bit of trepidation because I started seeing some people say that he wasn't showing up to rehearsals, and I was like, holy shit. Is Corey gonna pull a Hollywood and just not show up to any rehearsals and think he can just walk on stage and just do his thing and just act like Michael Jackson? And it looked like he actually did show up at least for a rehearsal, because before his performance there was a little highlight of him learning how to dance and stuff. Now, overall, right off the bat, I gotta say, Corey, out of all the people, was the most entertaining, the most charismatic. He was likable. I gotta say, my boy was likable. Now, it was actually nice to see him not in a podcast setting with, just him ranting and raving about this and that. He was on live TV, so he was kind of in this, it was like Corey in a cage, okay? Corey in a box, which in my opinion probably is the best Corey. He came off likable, funny, affable, and I enjoyed his appearance on the show overall. Scoliosis diagnosis drop. I don't know if that's new Corey lore. He said he had some stiffness due to his scoliosis. Choreosis, I had never heard that before, but apparently this was big for him to overcome his scoliosis. But like I said, there was a little worry. Is Corey going to show up? He's not doing any rehearsals, but he did in fact show up. Now, Corey was safe tonight, as I'm learning the rules and the operations of how Dancing with the Stars work. On the opening show, everybody's safe. Okay, it's just the judges voting, and people can call in to vote. I guess they were missing a judge, but we had a couple different judges here that were judging. Only 2 judges. I guess one person didn't make it. They'll be back next week. But all that to say, there's no eliminations on the first night. So Corey is safe for at least tonight. Now, I made a couple predictions going into this. First was about his costumes. Do they need a costume department for Corey Feldman in a Dance Mom style environment? Surely he's just going to bring in his broken glass outfit and just call it a day. He was wearing some sort of suit. I saw some people looked a little out of sorts in their sequence outfits, their Dance Moms outfits, but Corey looked right at home. The outfit that he wore for his dance thing tonight could have very easily been something ripped right out of his wardrobe from one of his stage performances on the Corey tour, the Corey Feldman band tour. So I don't know if he ripped that right out of his wardrobe. My prediction was that he brought his own clothes. That I don't know. My other prediction was everybody got to choose their anthem. They got to pick a song that they liked as their anthem to dance to. I thought for sure Corey was going to pick one of his own songs. I am guessing that the producers didn't allow him to do that. No, he didn't dance to Comeback King or anything like that. I imagine they probably had a list of songs that he was able to choose from. God, I was hoping that his Dancing with the Stars debut would have consisted of him dancing to Ascension Millennium or any one of his other songs, What's Up With Youth or something. That would have been amazing. Maybe down the line, if he lasts, we'll be able to see him dance to one of his own songs. That would be amazing. Another prediction I had is that he would be doing some Michael Jackson dance moves. And leading up in his little introduction, his little montage, of course, the Michael Jackson allegations started flowing. But this time, unlike the Good Morning America show, he didn't deny it. He leaned into it, and it kind of played to his favor. So his performance, it was very short. It was very small. He seemed to be a little out of his element, a little stiff, and he... There was a heavy emphasis on Michael Jackson. There was a whole moment where the camera pulled back and he just started doing Smooth Criminal. And of course, the crowd went wild, okay? The crowd went wild for your boy, Corey Feldman. Like I said, I have no knowledge when it comes to dance. It seemed to me that as with most people, when they interview Corey Feldman, they are enamored by his past and enamored by the movies that he was in. And that seemed to be the case. Everybody was like, okay, Corey's doing his thing. We like his movies and we're just going to kind of give him a pass on this dance thing. He ended up with a score out of 10. Derek Huff gave him a 4 and Green Suit Guy gave him a 5. They didn't seem overly enthusiastic about his dance. They kind of said, it was okay. It's a good first installment. So, all in all, this was slightly uneventful. I waited almost 2 hours for this debut of Corey Feldman, and we only got little glimpses of him as they put him in the background during the other people's voting when they were getting their scores read to them. I kept noticing Corey kind of looking at the camera. Maybe I'll put up a couple of clips of him, looking at the camera, but that's all we got of Corey, these little glimpses and just little pieces of Corey leading up to his performance, and then he danced for about a minute and a half, okay? He is paired up with the reigning champion of last season's Dancing with the Stars. She seemed like a very confident dancer with the most amazing abs I've ever seen. I gotta say, aside from Corey keeping my eyes on the screen, the lady dancers are incredibly impressive and incredibly beautiful, so at least there's something to look at in between the idle time waiting for Corey to dance, okay? So Corey did his thing. He absolutely did the Michael Jackson thing. So I don't know if this is going to be a running theme of him continuing to do this Michael Jackson impersonation. This is one time I do believe he's not going to be able to rely on dancing like Corey Feldman. They're going to cut that out pretty quickly. So week 1, a little lackluster. I imagine the dances are going to get more difficult. They're going to get more intricate. He's going to have to step up his skills. But it was good to see Corey in a controlled environment. Like I said, he's safe this week. We'll see how long he lasts. His dance skills really didn't stand out any more than, let's say, the NBA basketball player, if I'm being honest. And he relied on the same 3 dance moves that he did. He did his hat move, he did the hip move, and he was just doing his Michael Jackson thing. Outside of that, he looked a little stiff. So if I had to give Corey a rating, I'd probably give him about a 3, okay? I think they were being nice with their 4 and 5s, but will Corey's 50 years in show business and 50 years of dancing be able to outskill Andy Richter, Steve Irwin's son, an NBA player, Topanga from Boy Meets World, and some TikTok stars and some Mormon wives? Will his 50 years in show business be able to outshine those people? I just don't know. We'll have to wait till next week. If you guys like this, if you want me to continue to do this episode by episode review, you'll definitely want to like this video, comment below, and watch the whole video and just let me know what you think, and maybe we'll do this every week if this video performs well. But guys, that is pretty much it for Corey Feldman's debut performance on Dancing with the Stars season 136. But guys, that is it. That is it for me. I guess we're done here now. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.